Young Richard Jones was a third grader at Lincoln School in Herrin when he broke his leg and had to wear a plaster cast. The cast made his leg itchy, so Richard stuck a fly swatter handle between the cast and his leg to get some relief. His cousin started calling him Itchy, and the nickname stuck. Richard Itchy Jones went on to a lifetime of achievements and was honored this past May at the HerrinFesta Italiana celebration. You see, once that leg started working again, Itchy became a standout athlete in just about every way.
In that period of time, Mrs. Evelyn Cockatair made me my first baseball uniform. And she said, your uniform is always going to be different than the others. They had buttons down the front and I had a zipper.
Itchy Jones was a star athlete at Herrin High School. He was especially good at baseball and basketball, despite a small stature.
Go back to when I was a freshman. I'm a freshman, and Kabuti calls me in and says, I wanted you to come in the office and talk to you a minute. I said, okay. So I wasn't playing very well on the sophomore team. I was struggling. I started to pass the ball and the guy dropped his head, and so I'd end up walking or going to the bleachers, something crazy thing like that. And he said, Friday night, he says, we're going to start you as a freshman against Ziegler, Illinois. And Ziegler had good basketball back then. And I thought, wow, I started with varsity. So I go to the varsity, and we win, and then we were 3-7, and we win 10 straight games. And then we go to Harrisburg, which is, in my opinion, the only time Harrisburg ever won the South 7 Conference. He benches me that night, and we lose. The next night, we go to Mount Vernon, Illinois, and Mount Vernon has Mo Stokes, Jim Stokes. I mean, they were big, good athletes. Mount Vernon was a powerhouse in those days. So we go to the game, and we win that night. And so for the next 60 or 70 games, I start every game. I don't know if that's any good, but it was kind of like he's a good luck charm. We got to stick him out there.
He did grow 6 inches in high school, so as a 5'9" guard, he led the 1956 squad to the best finish in Tiger history. The next year, his teammates would do him one better and win a state championship. Before that happened, Itchy had his uniform retired by HHS, and you can still find it on display at the school today. Then he started a college career in his 2 sports at Southern Illinois University. He was named MVP for baseball his freshman year and lettered in baseball all 4 years at SIU. He went on to earn a master's degree in physical education in 1965 from SIU and even played 1 year in the Baltimore Orioles minor league system. But Itchy was born to coach. The first job he was offered was one he knew he wasn't qualified for, though. He knew so little about football that he turned to his wife, Sue, to understand one of that sport's mysteries.
I have to ask my wife. I said, what's the towel for in the back of the centers? She said, it's to wipe his hands off. She was a cheerleader in El Laredo, Illinois, and she knew all that stuff. I didn't know football. And the guy says, the superintendent said to me, he says, we're looking for a person that can help us in football. I looked at him and I said, don't harm me. I'm serious. I said, don't harm me. And so when the end of it came, he says, well, I see that you knew football. You got an A. Now, getting an A in football techniques when you're an athlete, that's tough. That's tough. Because they just give it to you. So I said to him, don't harm me. And I swear to God, he hired me. He said, well, you come up for an interview. And I thought, you don't know what you're getting. I said, as I'm walking out the door, I said, by the way, my wife's got a degree in kindergarten, elementary. He says, we'll hire her. So I walked out and I came back and I saw Sue, and I was working at the IGA because that was the end of my first year in professional baseball. So I was working at the IGA, and I walked in and I said, well, we're not going to start today. She says, how'd your interview went pretty good then? I said, yeah, I got you a job.
Jacksonville High School learned that Itchy knew much more about basketball and hired him to coach that sport, and he led the team to the IHSA Sweet 16 in 1964. Despite his early success as a basketball coach, he took a position as a head baseball coach at McMurray College in Jacksonville in 1966. He then returned to SIU as an assistant baseball coach and became head coach in 1970. In 21 years, he led the Salukis to become a baseball dynasty with Missouri Valley championships, qualifying for 10 NCAA tournaments and 3 College World Series. His 1971 team came within 1 game of winning the national title. His record of 738 baseball wins is far and away the best in school history. 23 of his SIU players went on to play in the major leagues, including Dave Stieb, Steve Finley, and Scott Spezio. In 1991, Jones moved to the University of Illinois as head coach, where he won 474 more games in 15 years, including 2 Big Ten regular season titles. He retired after the 2005 season. Itchy has membership in 8 Hall of Fames, and his awards include 4 Missouri Valley Coach of the Year awards, 2 Big Ten Coach of the Year awards, and he was the 2-time National Coach of the Year. The $4 million renovation of Abe Martin Field at SIU honored Jones when it reopened for the 2014 season and was dedicated Richard Itchy Jones Stadium. Itchy Jones still attributes his success to what he learned in his early days in Herrin.
My career is all based on all the things I think that I learned in Herrin. The people were so good in Herrin. I want to thank Lee Kabuti. I want to thank our teachers that taught us at school, from the elementary school on. Get your degree, get as far out as you can get, make something of yourself. You're better than what you think you are.
Another coaching legend from Herrin, Kerry Blaylock of the HHS class of 1984, has passed Itchy's record as the all-time winningest coach in any sport at SIU, where she has led the softball program for years.
You know, at one time, this town of Herrin had 3 major college Division I coaches. Steve Fisher at Michigan and later San Diego State. Kerry Blaylock at Southern Illinois University, who just chewed me up and took my record away. She did that week, and the guy at Illinois just passed mine this past week. So I'm a new one. I'm glad you people have me.
Oh, but all of Herrin is proud to have Richard Itchy Jones counted among one of our own. Thanks to Herrin Independent columnist Cheryl Rankino Trench for much of the detail in this story, and to our photographer Vicki Colombo for her help with some of the video work. And we're always thankful to the Arcadia Wealth Group and B.W. Bruce for his support of all of our history lessons.
Thank you very much for having me here this evening.
For the Swinford Media Group, I'm Bill Swinford.